the greatest 1v1 player ever. From the moment he touched the ball, there was an electricity about him, a raw energy that made fans rise to their feet and defenders freeze in fear. His dribbling wasn't just effective, it was mesmerizing. Every touch was deliberate yet unpredictable, every movement filled with the kind of flair that makes football an art form. Defenders dreaded facing him. In the modern game, where structure and tactical discipline are paramount, Saint-Maximin was an anomaly. He broke the rules, thrived in chaos, and exposed opponents with dazzling footwork and lightning acceleration. No one-on-one duel was ever truly fair when he was involved. He didn't just beat defenders, he humiliated them. He made professional athletes look like amateurs, turning them inside out before bursting past them with an effortless swagger. Alan has delivered several breathtaking performances throughout his career, leaving fans and defenders in awe. His unique blend of speed, skill, and unpredictability made him one of the most feared wingers in football. One of his best ever performances came in Newcastle's 4-1 victory over Bournemouth in July 2020. He was simply unplayable, providing 3 assists in a single game, a testament to his ability to not only beat defenders, but also create chances for his teammates. His dribbling and directness tore Bournemouth apart, earning him widespread praise. Another standout performance came against Burnley in October 2021. Newcastle struggled at the time, but Saint-Maximin single-handedly turned the game around. He scored a crucial goal and assisted another, showcasing his ability to carry the team on his back. His mesmerizing solo goal, weaving past defenders before slotting home, was one of the finest moments of his Premier League career. In August 2022, he produced another magical display against Manchester City, one of the toughest defences in football at the time. He was instrumental in Newcastle's thrilling 3-3 draw, terrorising City's backline with his dribbling and pace. He assisted 2 goals and was a constant threat throughout, proving that he could shine against the very best. His time at Nice also featured some iconic performances, including a brilliant display against Paris Saint-Germain, where he tormented world-class defenders like Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. His dazzling footwork and fearless attacking play earned him admiration even in defeat. Alain Saint-Maximin was born on March 12, 1997, in Châtenay-Malabry, a suburb of Paris, France. From an early age, it was clear that he was different. While most young footballers focused on mastering the basics, Saint-Maximin was already perfecting his dribbling, using his natural flair and quick feet to stand out. His love for the game was evident in the way he played, with an unshackled freedom that would later define his career. He began his footballing journey in the youth ranks of Viray-le-Buisson, before moving to the prestigious Clairefontaine Academy, where some of France's greatest talents have honed their craft, such as William Gallas, Kylian Mbappé, Nicolas Anelka, and Thierry Henry. Even among the country's best young prospects, he stood out for his fearless dribbling and unorthodox style. Coaches marvelled at his ability to beat defenders, but there was always a lingering question. Could he develop the discipline and tactical awareness needed to thrive at the highest level? His first professional opportunity came at Saint-Étienne, where he made his debut in 2013 as a 16-year-old. However, his time at the club was brief, and he struggled to make a lasting impact. His next move took him to AS Monaco, but once again he found himself on the periphery, unable to establish himself in the starting 11. Despite his undeniable talent, concerns about his consistency and decision-making followed him wherever he went. A loan spell at Bastia provided glimpses of his potential, but it was his move to OGC Nice in 2017 that truly allowed him to flourish. Under Lucien Favre's management, Saint-Maximin found a team that allowed him to express himself freely. At Nice, he became a nightmare for defenders, using his pace, trickery and unpredictability to torment opponents. His dribbling statistics skyrocketed, and he quickly gained a reputation as one of the most exciting young players in France. However, as dazzling as his performances were, concerns about his end product remained. While he could beat defenders with ease, his final pass and finishing were often inconsistent. Still, Newcastle United saw his raw potential and made a move for him in 2019. The Magpies spent €18 million on him, and since moving to England he truly became a fan favourite. At Newcastle the Frenchman was electric. He thrived in the Premier League's fast-paced physical environment, often single-handedly carrying the team's attacking threat. His dribbling was mesmerizing, and he became known as one of the best 1-versus-1 players in the world. Defenders feared him, knowing that stopping him in full flow was nearly impossible. Yet despite his brilliance, his career never quite reached the heights it should have. Injuries, inconsistency, and tactical limitations prevented him from becoming an elite-level player, and perhaps a bit of discipline too. In 2023, he made a surprising move to Saudi Arabia, ending his time at the top of European football. He ended up with 34 goal contributions in 124 games for the Geordies. For more on Newcastle this season, click here for our video and subscribe if you enjoy. Alan's career has been filled with moments of genius. While inconsistency may be one reason that prevented him from reaching elite status, on his day, he was truly unstoppable. One of the best 1v1 dribblers the game has ever seen, Saint-Maximin will always be remembered as a player of moments, an entertainer who thrilled crowds and made defenders look foolish. But history will always ask, what if he had taken a different path? During his peak at Newcastle United, he was a spectacle. Even when the team struggled, he was the beacon of excitement. Fans would turn up to St James's Park knowing that no matter the result, they were guaranteed a show. His dribbles weren't just about beating a man, they were about entertaining, about expressing himself with every flick and turn. The Premier League, known for its physicality and intensity, had few answers to his unique style. It wasn't just his footwork that made him special, it was his fearlessness. He played with the confidence of a street footballer, someone who had honed his skills in tight spaces where improvisation was the key to survival. That mentality carried over to the bigger stages. It didn't matter if he was up against world-class fullbacks or young academy graduates. He played the same way, always daring, always believing that no defender could truly match him. At his best, he was unplayable. There were games where entire defensive lines were preoccupied with containing him, doubling or even tripling up on him just to limit the damage. His acceleration was explosive, his change of direction near impossible to anticipate. When he received the ball, time seemed to slow down, and opponents knew they were in trouble before he had even made his move. But football is about more than just dribbling. As thrilling as Saint-Maximin was, his career never reached the heights it should have. For all his individual brilliance, there was always something missing. His decision-making was inconsistent, his final product unreliable. While he could breeze past defenders with ease, what came next wasn't always clear. A poor cross, a delayed shot, a misjudged pass. These moments frustrated fans and coaches alike. There were glimpses of what could have been. When he was on form, he was capable of single-handedly winning games. His pace and trickery could turn defence into attack in an instant. But football's elite players don't just rely on moments. They deliver week in, week out. And that's where Saint-Maximin fell short. He was a highlight reel player, but never the consistent game-changer that top clubs demand. Injuries didn't help his cause. His explosive style put immense strain on his body, and niggling issues started to slow him down. When he was out of the team, Newcastle adapted, learning to play without him. And when he returned, he struggled to regain his previous influence. The team evolved, but he remained the same, relying on the same dribbling-heavy approach, even as the game around him became more structured. Then came the move that signalled the decline. When he left Newcastle for Saudi Arabia, it felt like an admission. He was still in his prime, still capable of dazzling audiences in Europe's top leagues, but instead, he chose a path that many saw as an easy way out. It was a decision that sparked debate. Some understood it as a financial move, a chance to secure his future. Others saw it as the end of his competitive career, a waste of a talent that should have been lighting up the Champions League, not fading away in a less competitive environment. It wasn't supposed to end like this. A player of his ability should have been gracing the biggest stages for years to come. Instead, he became a cautionary tale, a reminder that talent alone is never enough. Football is a game of consistency, of evolution, of maximising potential. Saint-Maximin had all the tools to be an elite winger, but he never fully adapted his game. The best one-on-one player of his generation, but a career of what-ifs. His name will still be remembered. Fans who watched him in his prime will never forget the way he made them feel. The thrill of seeing him pick up the ball and charge at a helpless defender, the moments of magic that left stadiums in awe. But history will always ask, what if he had taken a different path? What if he had refined his game, improved his finishing, and become the complete attacker? Instead, Alain Saint-Maximin remains a player of moments, a talent that football never truly saw at its best. The greatest one-on-one dribbler ever, but not the legend he could have been. For a player of such immense ability, there was always a sense that he could have done more. Many fans and pundits believe that if he had developed a more structured approach, he could have transitioned from a flashy, unpredictable winger to a truly elite attacker. His dribbling alone was not enough to cement his legacy in football's elite ranks. His time at Nice, before joining Newcastle, showcased his raw potential, but there was always a question mark over whether he could consistently influence games beyond dazzling runs. His managers often spoke of his incredible ability, yet there was always an underlying frustration about his lack of refinement. Had he spent more time working on his end product, he could have become a player worthy of leading a top European club. Even at Newcastle, his cult hero status was built on moments rather than dominance. Fans adored him because he was different. In an era of calculated tactics and system-driven football, ASM was an outlier, a player who played with the joy of a child in a park, untouched by rigid structures and tactical constraints. Yet, for all the excitement, he never fully became the decisive star that Newcastle needed. For more on Newcastle's modern star, click here for our video on Alexander Isak. Subscribe if you enjoy. It is difficult to say if a different career trajectory would have changed his fortunes. If he had moved to a top European club earlier, perhaps he would have been forced to develop a more complete game. Or perhaps he would have struggled with the demands of structured football, unable to fit into the patterns and responsibilities required at the highest level. Even as he faded from the spotlight, his impact on fans remains. Newcastle supporters still speak about him with admiration, remembering the joy he brought. His time in the Premier League was filled with dazzling dribbles, moments that will live on in highlight reels and memories. Few players could make the game look as effortless, as fun, as thrilling as Saint-Maximin did. His career serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. He showed that football is still an art, that individual brilliance can still shine through the tactical systems that dominate modern football. But he also proved that raw talent alone is never enough. Without adaptation, without refinement, even the most gifted players can find themselves falling short of their true potential.